our top story here. We're looking at the Asia Cup, where Operation Sindoor's echoes across matches between India and Pakistan. There seems to be controversy, and in the latest, the Asia Cup face-off between India and Pakistan has spilled off the field into a storm of complaints and counter-complaints. India captain Suryakumar Yadav now finds himself in the dock after the Pakistan Cricket Board filed a formal complaint with the ICC. The PCB says his remarks after India's win on September 14th, when he dedicated the victory to the victims of Pahalgam terror attack and India's armed forces. According to the PCB, his comments harmed the image of the sport. Now, news has just come in that Team India T20 captain Suryakumar Yadav has attended the ICC hearing conducted by match referee Richie Richardson, BCCI COO Hemang Amin, and cricket operations manager Sumeet Mallapurkar also accompanied Suryakumar. We hear this has just about happened. He has been given an official warning. Suryakumar may likely be fined or he may get a demerit point. This is what is likely to happen. We're yet to ascertain. Information on this is just about trickling in. But we hear Suryakumar has refuted the allegations. He was part of the hearing there, and it appears that there may be a fine that he could attract for the comments he made, where he said, I dedicate this victory to our armed forces. This comes, remember, just hours after India's cricketing board, the BCCI, filed its own protest and a complaint against Pakistan's Rauf and Farhan for those gestures you see on our screens, where Farhan was celebrating a 50 gunshot, like holding it like a gun and celebrating his 50 points, and Rauf, where he was seen doing the 6-0 gesture, which is interpreted as a reference to Pakistan's unsubstantiated claims of shooting down 6 Indian jets during the Operation Sindoor. Now, this has triggered outrage. ICC has also asked these two players for a written explanation as to what has happened. Making matters worse today, instead of cooling tempers, PCB chief Mohsin Naqvi has fanned this fire all the more, posting a video of Cristiano Ronaldo on his X account. And in that video, Ronaldo is seen making a fighter jet gesture, a move that is clearly viewed as deliberate provocation by Naqvi and a bid to justify the Pakistani players' aggressive gestures. This is a clear fall from grace. You look at it, Mohsin Naqvi, who is the chief of the PCB, posting such images clearly look like he is trying to instigate. An absolute shame, an embarrassment for him, if not for anything else. The row adds another layer of bitterness clearly to an Asia Cup that's already marred by political posturing. It began with India first refusing to handshake after the first encounter with Pakistan, and now this has escalated with both the cricketing boards of India and Pakistan filing charges against each other. Cricket now nearly turning into a diplomatic flashpoint. All right, let me quickly bring in our guests joining us for a little more. Chandrasekhar Luthra, senior sports journalist. We also have Saurabh Verma, film trade analyst, and sports commentator Shekhar Vijayan joining us. Thanks very much, all of you. Chandrasekhar Luthra, your take first. Let's start with you on Suryakumar Yadav likely to receive a penalty or a fine. Was this expected? Yeah. We're very disappointed.
Well, isn't it, so laughable that, now he has been reprimanded because Pakistan has also, made a complaint against Indian team. Obviously, India has also made that complaint against Pakistanis. Point is, if you have to justify what Indians have done, then only you can penalize, Pakistanis. For me, the biggest, I would say, offense or the two-count offense was committed by India or Indian captain or players. One is by not shaking hands. That was against the sportsman spirit. There, I think Indian players could have been just reprimanded. That's all, because it was not such a big offense to me or to in terms of the law there in ICC law. But the second offense by making a political statement by Suryakumar, I think that was a very, very serious issue. if you have had made this kind of comment in an Olympic or any FIFA game, I think there was a simple ban, or there was a simple punishment where penalties or anything else could have been levied. But this is ICC, controlled by India, extension center of BCCI in Dubai, and controlled by none other by your own home minister, that nothing has happened so far. And now that he has been reprimanded is only a, I would say, just a, I mean, I would have not imagined that only this kind of reprimand would have, happened. To me, the right penalty or right thing was to do is to give him a suspended, probably, sentence, a ban of 1 or 2 games, I think,
No, but
suspended
what,
ban,
Surya
which we
Kumar?
have seen. Sorry. Sorry.
Suspension for Surya Kumar, you're welcoming that?
Yes, for captain, obviously,
No, but
for
Surya
making this
Kumar is
for
Surya
making
Kumar is
political statement.
see, there has been some talk around Surya Kumar complying by the BCCI's rules when it came to the
No, no,
handshake. A BCCI rule meaning BCCI's message that
absolutely.
you shouldn't be
That's what.
shaking hands with the Pakistan team. Now
That's
that
what.
the team
That,
did. Then they came
that's where I
out,
was
and when
coming.
they were speaking to the media, Surya
No,
Kumar
no.
said, "I dedicate this victory to the armed forces." Why is it wrong?
That's making a political statement, and that is absolutely prohibited, banned in sports. That is what I am saying. This was a bigger offense than not shaking hands. You have to understand this. In sporting arena, this is completely no. So by making this statement on the behest of government or wherever, I think he has obviously committed this mistake, and he should have been penalized. I mean, talking purely about sports and whatever I have covered. And second is, by not shaking hands, that was obviously a very political decision taken by maybe our political masters, who have made this country a hyper, I would say, nationalist country. And that's where we are also getting into a situation. We are claiming that, by this gesture of making a bet, I could tell you hundred of instances, from Vivian Richards to maybe Kapil, or anybody who were doing all these things, making it a gun. Because when you are firing from cylinders, it is, I'm not making any political statement, but when you fire from all cylinders, you obviously do these kind of gestures. You can, do a lot of other gestures
So
there.
you're saying
If
what
you
Rauf and Farhan did of firing
mean
a
they
gun,
no no
pretending to
I'm
fire a
not
gun, of doing
I'm just saying
6-0, are
I'm
not
just
as bad as offences as what Surya Kumar did by dedicating the
absolutely
victory to the armed forces? You're saying it's not as bad? How is
absolutely
that not a
by not
political
shake.
statement on the ground than what they did?
No. This was not a political. I'm saying that I have seen so many statements like they, or gestures like this, in Olympics, in Asian Games, wherever. When Usain Bolt, he used to, break any world record. Obviously, he used to make so many gestures of flying, or floating there, or Shoaib Akhtar, if you remember, taking wickets. He used to float there. So obviously, these are the gestures that you do to celebrate, whatever you have done. But making a political statement was a wrong thing. And also, when you ask me whether these Pakistanis have committed any kind of error, yes, I agree that in the heat of the moment, the kind of situation we are in right now after Operation Sindhu, maybe they also had their own, ways of expressing things. But yes, by penalizing Surya Kumar on that particular day, if ICC would have done, now they could have taken action. But now it is like, you show me action against Surya Kumar, and we can show you action against Pakistan. This is something, very, very
So you
bizarre
know
that
what
is
I see,
happening.
what I largely see here, Pakistan getting their way right from the start. They're upset that handshake did not happen. They're upset that
Absolutely.
Surya Kumar dedicated the victory to the armed forces. They're upset, and it seems like the ICC is sort of going with Pakistan's demands here, and we're upset with that.
Again,
What
in me,
about
that,
India's grouse? What about
well,
India's grouse?
well, this is a
What about
knee-jerk reaction.
Pakistani players making those aggressive gestures? Should they? BCCI has filed a complaint to the ICC. What do you think will happen?
That's
What do you think will happen to Rauf and Harris? Sorry, Harris and Farhan.
To me, the offense is not that critical that they could get the penalties, But
Really, is
yes,
that not a
they could.
political statement? What Harris, Rauf, and
Depends, if
Farhan
you
did?
could, if you could come to that, or if you could, there are histories I can tell you where these kind of gestures had happened on the ground. Because this is, again, you look at the bat, the gun is on his own side. That means he was committing suicide. It is not on the other side. Remember this. I can show you lot of pictures where the gun is, or the barrel is on the other
Oh,
side.
come
So
on,
these are
sir.
these are
What are
again,
you saying? Are you real? I'm shocked you're defending the player.
no, no, I'm not defending.
He
I'm
himself.
saying I'm saying two wrongs does not make any right thing. I'm saying these kind of gestures
You
I have
just said
seen on
he's
the
trying to
field.
commit suicide.
I mean, again, because the barrel is on your
I'm
own side.
sorry. What do
It
you
is not on
want?
the other side.
That is not
Yes.
even that even Pakistan wouldn't have thought of. That's how much you're defending him.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I was going through so many pictures on the net. I have seen a picture of.
Forget pictures. He himself has admitted. He says, "Yeah, I don't care. Let people say what they want. I wanted to celebrate it
Yes,
like that. I
because
did it."
because they are also under pressure. You have to understand this. If your players are under instructions from the government, or Gautam Gambhir, your coach, or anybody, then Pakistanis are also under pressure from this.
So they should also
Their
get the
own
same punishment
political
then.
masters.
Like Suryakumar, they should also get a penalty. They should also get a suspension if Suryakumar is
If you are
being.
asking me which is a bigger offense, I would say by making a political statement. These gestures, not shaking hand, this is not in the not in the sportsman spirit. But if you ask me the penalties, then penalty should only happen to Surya Kumar for making statement. Rest all can be reprimanded, given a warning, and also demerit points. Because after this, if you commit another offense like this, then you could be banned.
Okay. I mean, speaking about the handshake, as much as there's been a lot of conversation around it, we heard Shashi Tharoor today, who spoke about the handshake, particularly saying that it was not right on India's part not to shake
Absolutely.
hands post the match. That is sportsman. It's their duty as a sports person to shake hands, and it's part of the game. So that shouldn't have been made political. This is what Shashi Tharoor has said. I'm going to just introduce what he said to you before I carry forward with this talk.
Once the decision had been made to play, if we feel so strongly about Pakistan, we should not have played. But if we are going to play them, because if we had not played, we would have forfeited the points and we would perhaps not have lost the tournament on that reason. If we were going to play them, we should play in the spirit of the game, and we too should have handshakes. I have shaken their hands, done the normal things that are required. We've done this before.
All right, let me bring in Shekhar Vijayan, who's also vehemently opposed India playing Pakistan. But now that the game has happened, we're looking at a controversy that we've never seen before, and it's become a bigger drama, if anything, if not for anything else. Pakistan have just lost one game after the other, but their attitude is on another plane. Shekhar Vijayan.
Absolutely. This is a pattern they have. And I was listening to, my namesake speak as we talk. And, the fact is the Pakistan team is doing this. But, Nabila, there's a pattern here. I've seen that the Pakistan under 17 football team, they also did some kind of posturing like this, about sipping tea and, trying to indicate that something about the armed forces. So, I don't know, it looks like they're all following a particular pattern. They want to distract us from the fact that they've been losing games. They've been taking this no handshake policy very seriously, and it's hit them really hard. The fact that India's just royally ignored them in terms of not shaking hands with them, in terms of not engaging with them, in terms of just playing, finishing it off in a professional manner, and not at all engaging with them pre-match or post-match. That has hit them really hard. And they're doing whatever they can in terms of trying to get under India's skin. They tried abusing India. They tried doing all this aggressive posturing, in terms of all those various pyrodynamics they were trying to show. But that didn't work. At the end of the day, Pakistan usually does this whenever they lose games. We have noticed this. This is a pattern they have. And now I see that it's not just happening in cricket for them. It's happening in other sports too. It looks like they all have an unwritten diktat that, now post what's happened with India, they want to make sure that they use these gestures at every arena. It's India's fault that India went and played with Pakistan because India has given them an open canvas to do something like this. The fact that, as we talk on the screen, he's showing an aggressive posture of using a Sten gun, or, they have different players who are doing different things, mouthing obscenities, showing a plane, showing a rocket. And this is even after losing. If you win, your action speaks louder than words. They have lost so miserably against India. And, they're just making up excuses, making up reasons for the fact that they didn't play well at all.
So cricketing experts would say that India started this. India refused to shake hands and started this behavior of unsportsmanly behavior. So then we've got to tolerate the response as well. What would you say to that?
Absolutely. So India has tolerated the response. India has not complained about anything. It's Pakistan who's doing the complaining. India has just really ignored
BCCI has
them.
complained about gestures, from Rauf and those
Absolutely. But
aggressive
Nabila, but these gestures are really unwarranted. These are very, very wrong demeaning gestures. If you look at the gestures, everybody knows what they mean. And you're just trying to incite trouble here. And it's a certain pattern. This is not just from them, from a couple of players inside the team itself. So they're doing what they can. BCCI has complained. And I think it's a tit for tat. And I think India has also done the same thing.
Yeah,
See, at the end of the day, winning is important.
Winning is important, but this tit for tat has really escalated. It's become, it's cast a shadow on the entire Asia Cup. Now, India better win this cup, We're a little tense to see what next, because both teams are so angry with each other. I'm not too sure how that will play out. Of course, India is a far more superior team than Pakistan. Right. And we have been winning matches, but this aggression on the field when you have personal rivalry, how does that really play out, Chandrasekhar?
Well, when we talk about the rivalry, it's a very, very healthy rivalry.
I've seen healthy. So many matches. How is this healthy?
Not this. Yeah. I'm saying on cricketing field, generally before this, whatever happened, I think we were the best of the friends with Pakistani players and vice versa. I have seen so many times, heard the stories from the cricketers and also witnessed it over last 30 years. So there was absolutely no problem. We had sledging issues. We had, obviously our common language is Punjabi, Hindi, Urdu. So we used to sledge each other like ma bhan kind of, everywhere. But the problem is when you bring in, this kind of political statements, then obviously if you are under pressure, my simple point is if Indian players are under pressure, so are Pakistanis. How could you imagine that Pakistani is not responding after what has India done? Again, this is something that the war is also being fought on the cricketing fields or anywhere else. And when we talk about pattern, my friend was saying they are following some pattern. I have not seen these kind of gestures anywhere else. Obviously we hardly cover anything else apart from hockey, but we have not seen these kind of things. This is a recent thing that has happened and only happened when we made the political statement, when we did not play as per the sportsman spirit. And for all that, you have to understand that who gave the permission. I always maintain this, that the only people who have given permission for this tournament was first week of August, came from obviously PMO and Home Ministry, and that's how Jaisha, their favorite son, and someone who is employed there, despite his no knowledge of cricket, then obviously it is to save his job that we are committing errors after errors. And if ICC has to penalize Suryakumar, they will also penalize Pakistanis or vice versa. It's a give and take kind of situation for ICC. But very, very unfortunate things that we have witnessed over last 2 weeks.
All right. Well, unfortunate, and you did mention how India and Pakistan have worked very closely. There's been decades of enmity,
Best of the friends.
But the situation has gotten worse in the last few years, right? With regards to films, you have Pakistani artists who extensively have worked in the Indian film industry. I'm not too sure if it's happened the other way around, but India has welcomed Pakistani artists extensively. Diljit Dosanjh to be one of them, who had his movie Sardar 3 recently, where he had Hania Amir, a very famous Pakistani actress, be part of the film. He was labelled as anti-national and whatnot. And there was a lot of condemnation against Diljit, calling him anti-national and that he was insensitive to the Pahalgam terror strikes, though Diljit at that point as well had clarified that his film was shot even before the Pahalgam terror attacks. But nonetheless, he still went ahead with the film, bearing all that backlash. Today, Diljit broke his silence, speaking extensively on a stage at a concert where he elaborated as to what really happened, and in a way got emotional while saying that Punjabis, Sikhs will never ever go against the country. But what about India playing Pakistan? The government has allowed it. Here's what he had said.
ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਫਿਲਮ ਆਈ ਸੀ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਜੀ, ਉਹ ਫਰਵਰੀ 'ਚ ਬਣੀ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਮੈਚ ਖੇਲਦੇ ਪਏ ਸੀ ਸਾਰੇ। ਔਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਦੁਖਦਾਈ ਘਟਨਾ ਹੋਈ ਪਹਿਲਗਾਮ ਅਟੈਕ ਦੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਨਿੰਦਾ ਕੀਤੀ, ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕੀਤੀ, ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਹਮਲਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਖਤ ਤੋਂ ਸਖਤ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਮਿਲਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ। ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਪਰ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਚ ਹੋਏ ਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਫਿਲਮ ਦਾ ਫਰਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੈ। ਸਾਡੀ ਫਿਲਮ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸ਼ੂਟ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ, ਮੈਚ ਬਾਅਦ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇ ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਦਾ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਦਿਲਜੀਤ ਦੋਸਾਂਝ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਦਿਖਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ, ਪਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਤੇ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਕੌਮ ਕਦੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ।
Well, that was Diljit Dosanjh there. We gave you a snippet of what he said. He spoke for 3 minutes exactly on this, that Sardar 3 faced a lot of flack and whatnot. So we see a lot of times when it comes to national security and border issues, a lot of stars, actors get caught in the crossfire. While there are no norms or rules that are laid out in black and white, artists are usually misinterpreted, and Diljit Dosanjh was one of them, where there was a lot of fire at him saying that you did not stand for the nation at that point. But imagine the kind of losses he could have incurred if he really shelved that film, Sardarji 3. Saurabh Verma, who's a film trade analyst and former CMO, Geo Studios and Inox, gives us a little take on that. Saurabh, I waited to come to you post the Diljit angle here, but this is very important. It's been trending whole of today. That really shows that people, one, love Diljit, and his response to what had happened, finally breaking his silence, they've lapped it up. People are welcoming the statement that he's made. But you tell us, what's the kind of damage or losses that filmmakers, actors, producers incur because of a border situation or anything that's not written in black and white, but you're expected to take a moral stand?
So I guess, let me start by saying that nobody questions Diljit Dosanjh's integrity, his love for the nation. I don't think anybody can question that. So that's for sure. The only thing is that any film takes at least a year to make. So anything which you are making today, we have to assume what's going to happen 12 months or 14 months or 18 months from now, because that's the kind of process a film takes. And it's got more than 150 people involved in making one film. It's not just owned by one person or a producer or somebody. It's, there's so many people involved. There's so much of stake in whatever. One thing which I can always say is that, there was always a, conflict between the two nations. And this conflict is not new. Air Dil Hai Mushkil faced the same problem with Fawad and everything. And I think it is, even today, if somebody wants to cast a Pakistani actor, they have to think like twice or maybe 10 times before doing that, because you never know what's going to happen 12 months from now. We can
but that's the sad part. If there has to be a ban, then there has to be a full ban. Then the government has to fully block Pakistani actors and give it in black and white, in written, that that India should not be collaborating with Pakistani artists. But there is no definite definition there. But yet people are expected for producers and actors to take this moral high stand. And if you're not, then there's silent boycott or not so silent boycott happening on social platforms. How fair is that?
So I guess it's not something which the government is saying. I think it's the emotion which is flowing through internet and everything, where whatever you say is going to be misinterpreted. And like you said, that film industry is a very easy target to do anything. So that's the easy scapegoat to do everything. So whatever's happened, it's a loss to Indian makers. It's a loss to the Indian producer and an Indian actor. But having said that, I think that whole emotion is coming from the public, from people who are there in the internet and everything. So I don't think it's government who's telling them कि यार ये allowed है ये नहीं है. But I think there should be a clear dictat. If cricket is allowed, then so should be entertainment. This demarcation is something which is something not working for. I'm not able to understand this.
Yeah, and it's so fluid, right? Now we hear that Fawad Khan's film is releasing in India.
I guess I don't think that's going to happen. But if it happens, I mean, then it's unfair because
Now all the Pakistani YouTube channels have been unblocked. We in India can view it now. So that embargo has been breached.
yeah. So
That's a problem, Nabila, sometimes, when we go for this hyper nationalism kind of thing, then that is not going to solve any issues, the relative issues. Problem is even our Jai Shah, the favorite son of India, and his father, Home Minister of India, they did not assume that in December that this kind of situation would come. There will be a Operation Sindoor after 6 months, and we had to play because that was done, that was signed because we didn't want to, invite Pakistan to India. So as a host, we are hosting a match in UAE now, or in Saudi Arabia, because we knew that we are not traveling to Pakistan. We did not assume that this kind of situation will come. If they could not assume, how can we expect any producer or director or any cricketer to assume all these things? This is absolutely ridiculous. As I always maintain that we are a much bigger nation, much big-hearted relation. We are not Talibanis. We are not Hindu Talibanis. Our countries has never been like this. So we have to show that bigger thing. And Pakistan, being a very small state, obviously we cannot compare ourselves to Pakistan in whatever field.
We've been big on many levels every time,
Yes.
India has always been forgiving, forever forgiving. India is forever forgiving.
Well, post 2009, if you remember, when we stopped taking Pakistani players into IPL, which is a money spinner, it's much bigger than playing for nation or anything. When it comes to only earning money. What happened in 2010 auctions in Mumbai? I was there. I broke this story. How a small slip was given to all the team owners that not to pick Pakistani players. That was the UPA time. That was not the NDA time. That was Lalit Modi at the helm at that point of time. So obviously it was done silently. That don't pick Pakistani players post 2009 Mumbai issues. So things could have done in a different way.
What is there to hide anymore? Why should we hide the hatred? If they are breeding terror, if they are breeding terror, then we've got to be brazen as well. It can't be. We can't be
completely.
Then be an example.
Silently tiptoeing around the issue.
Then our politicians should be an example. Our Jai Shah should be an example. Why are you making these players a pawn in your dirty politics? Suryakumar Yadav,
pawn in dirty politics. Why do you say that? Yes. My last question here is that Suryakumar Yadav initiated this no handshake rule for the entire team based on a direction given by the BCCI. Absolutely. Now that has resulted in this whole controversy now with Suryakumar Yadav himself due to be facing a penalty or a suspension. So that now is a very tricky situation. We've got to see how the BCCI will fully back Suryakumar Yadav, because it was India's stance completely with the cricketing board saying they did not want to shake hands and it wasn't even mandatory. But now the poor guy has to face the heat. He might face suspension. A final word, Saurabh Verma, you were saying, I cut you short.
So I guess from my perspective, if I just look at the film industry and I don't know the bigger politics of all this, I think it's immensely stupid to, think about a film which is going to release in a year and, cast some Pakistani artists for whatever reasons. We don't have any dearth of any talent in India. We don't have dearth of any kind of cast we want to hire. So I think
we don't have dearth of talent in India, but let's be honest, Diljit Dosanjh is Sikh Punjabi. There's huge connection in that sense along the border area. Pakistan speaks Punjabi. There's a Sindh area. There's that. It's basically homeland torn apart into two, right? It's been, but yet there's a lot of emotion and there's a lot of cross-border viewership. So you're catering to that culture and emotion.
I differ here because the maximum number of pirated things which go of India goes from Pakistan. It's not that we make revenue out of Pakistan. In fact, a lot of but I don't disagree.
Pakistan is a poor country. What revenue will they give us? They'll do all the under-table work better.
But they but they enhance the piracy market, because that's the first place from where the whole pirated prints are disseminated. So for us, it's also kills our industry. So my only thing is, if you're planning something which is going to release 1.5 years later, you need to be a little more careful in casting and everything. But now that this has happened, I think if you're allowing cricket, then you should allow for this.
All right. Shekhar Vijayan, final word.
See, I think, like I said earlier, I think there is a pattern which Pakistan is doing, and they're doing this just to distract us from real issues of the game. India shouldn't have played the game in the first place, and I think the axe is going to fall on Surya. Surya has to take the blame for it or for what he's done. BCCI should obviously back him for this. I think more than BCCI, the entire country is standing with Surya for this, because I don't think India has done anything wrong here. India has done what they're supposed to do. They were not supposed to play. They went and played with them. Like you said, this is just Pakistan's fall of grace. And this is really unwarranted. It is not needed. This was just a simple game of cricket.
But we're just hoping that Suryakumar Yadav does not really have to be suspended. If there's a penalty, then BCCI should pay and finish it. Thank you.
Rest assured, Nabila, don't worry about this. We have bigger son there, taking care of all this.
Okay.
Only his job is being saved right now.
All right. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. I appreciate that.